Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Kim. Today is Friday, August 28th, 2020, and we begin with the kind of news we all need right now. Earlier this week, Chicago White Sox starter Lucas Giolito threw the first no-hitter of the delayed and shortened baseball season. That in and of itself is pretty awesome, but the story gets better. 2 years ago, Lucas had the worst ERA in baseball, 6.13. In the history of the game, no one with an ERA north of 6 has ever gone on to pitch a no-hitter. As Lucas told reporters, he's spent a few years getting his butt kicked over and over and hovered at the bottom of the league in just about every stat. But he also knew there was a good pitcher inside him somewhere and refused to give up. It's a good thing he didn't. As for his coach, White Sox manager Rick Renteria said he was so happy for his young pitcher, he nearly cried. The conventions are in the rearview mirror, and some pretty intense campaigning for the nation's highest office is dead ahead. Last night, President Trump accepted the nomination of the Republicans. Joe Biden did the same for the Democrats last week. Count on the next 2 months being a blur of nonstop ads and political mudslinging. The date to circle on the calendar, though, is September 29th. That's when the American people can watch President Trump and Mr. Biden go head-to-head in the first of 3 presidential debates. Barring a coronavirus curve, it'll be held at Case Western University in Cleveland, Ohio. Election Day is right around the corner on November 3rd. It's a cleanup day in Louisiana. Hurricane Laura roared ashore yesterday morning as a Category 4 storm with winds clocked at 150 miles an hour. Louisiana's governor calls it the most powerful hurricane to ever strike the state, stronger even than Katrina in 2005. Especially hard hit was Cameron Parish. Elsewhere, though, most say it wasn't quite as bad as the monster they had feared, perhaps because the dreaded storm surge reportedly maxed out at 12 feet instead of 20. Unable to ride out the wind and rain, a Confederate general. The statue that stood outside of the Lake Charles courthouse since 1915 and was given the thumbs up by residents to stay just 2 weeks ago is now in pieces on the ground. If this isn't an inspirational journey, nothing is. A 34-year-old who spent 5 years working as a security guard at Baton Rouge General Hospital is now a doctor there. Russell Ledet said he used to study medicine on note cards and would ask passing doctors if he could shadow them. Most said no, but one said yes. That life-changing moment led Russell to put down his badge, go to college, get a PhD in molecular oncology, followed by an MBA and an MD degree. Dr. Ledet has returned to where he worked the perimeter, now with a stethoscope in hand, determined to help both patients and students of color like himself find their futures in medicine. The game will go on. Although there was talk that NBA players would boycott the rest of the playoffs as an ongoing protest to police brutality, they reportedly had a change of heart. Led by LeBron James, the players met inside their Orlando bubble for an emotional meeting yesterday and decided to finish the season, starting as early as tonight. Their unprecedented move to skip Wednesday's matchups got the world's attention, and sources say that even though they're returning to the court, they aren't done fighting for racial justice. In fact, athletes across multiple sports are saying enough is enough. Their days of staying in their lane and not speaking out are over. That's it for KidNuz this morning. Now, our KidNuz quiz. What's the name of the pitcher who threw baseball's first no-hitter this season? Lucas Giolito. What's the date of the first presidential debate? September 29th. What was the top wind speed for Hurricane Laura? 150 miles per hour. What was a Baton Rouge doctor before he went to medical school? A security guard. In One for the Road, there's a new name coming to one of the most famous ski resorts in the world. Squaw Valley in California announced it will drop squaw and rebrand itself as something else entirely. According to the University of Idaho, the word was introduced by Lewis and Clark in 1805 and used by early fur traders and trappers to refer to Native American women. In today's social context, the term is considered offensive. The resort hosted the Winter Olympics back in 1960. Owners say their search for a new name is underway, but its final decision won't be announced until sometime next year. Before we go, we have birthday shout-outs for Jacob in Arlington, Virginia, Tyler in Sudbury, Massachusetts, Christian in McDonough, Georgia, Declan in Smithfield, Kentucky, Victoria in Catonsville, Maryland, Piper in Westchester, Pennsylvania, Augie in Concord, North Carolina, and to California for Elliot in Bonita, Mia in Lake Balboa, and Sophie in Burlingame. Thanks for listening, everyone. Don't forget to take our Week in Review quiz on our website, and we'll see you back here for more Kid News Monday morning.